Good morning, this is Laura from TheYarnCloset in Tucson, Arizona. I'm recording a little bit earlier than I normally do. Kids in their rooms, in baths, husband is gone. So I'm just gonna do a quick FO because I'm so excited. I know it's hard to tell when I'm excited, but I am so excited. I figured out the crown decreases. Okay. Oh, sorry. YarnCloset AZ on Instagram. TheYarnCloset@yahoo.com. You can follow me at Patreon for free, The Yarn Closet at Patreon. Or you can become a supporter. TheYarnCloset@yahoo.com on PayPal, The Yarn Closet on Patreon, and you can support us financially. We give out gifts quarterly to participants and supporters. Participating is just as much of a support as the financial because I started this, like many people, because I had no one to really communicate my yarn love with and couldn't get out to a local group. My LYS is great, although seems to cater to a certain dynamic that I maybe don't fit into. And there's not a bunch of retreats and stuff around me or easily accessible. Hey, I told you it would have to be a long bath, so just hang out for another 10 minutes and I'll come and get you. Thank you. So the kids have been they have this thing called fall break in Arizona. I don't know, maybe because it's still so stinking hot. They seem to have more school breaks here. Like, we go to school from the beginning of August to the end of May. And honestly, I think they could cut a whole month out of there if they just had less week-long breaks. I mean, they have week-long breaks here. It's crazy. They oftentimes get a week off for Thanksgiving. Who gets a week off for Thanksgiving? I mean, that's nuts. But anyway, so it's been hectic. But I had just figured out crown decreases before the break. Remember how I had a hat machine? Not using it made me feel guilty, so I very rarely cast on an actual hat. And I didn't have a lot of worsted weight stuff that wasn't acrylic. But I was motivated to try to figure this out. So, because as it turns out, for my size, making a sweater, I can do a lot of it on a 16-inch needle. I seem to be accumulating a lot of sizes of 16-inch needles, and that's perfect for adult hats. So I looked it up, and I looked it up, and I looked it up. And I finally found somebody who explained it in a far more accessible fashion, because there's really only 2 steps to this process, okay? A lot of people do a 2x2 rib. Easy enough. Some people do a folded brim. It doesn't matter. Take the number of stitches. Figure out all the things that you can evenly divide into that, okay? So this, I know, is an 84 stitch worsted weight. I think I did it on a 5mm. By the way, I just found wooden needles. Oh my God. Love them. Love them. I wish I wouldn't have gone and gotten quite so many. I bought a few needle sets off of eBay, like, hey, I'm selling all Grandma's needles and stuff. I wish I wouldn't have done that because I don't like to have an excessive quantity of things. I wish there was a place where you could trade online. Anyway, so I figured this out. Here's the easy thing for crown decreases. Figure out all the numbers that that divide into your number of stitches evenly. So I have 84, so 12 divides in there evenly. Take 12 minus 2 and you get 10. Mark your beginning of round, knit 10, knit 2 together, knit 10, knit 2 together, knit 10, knit 2 together. You'll evenly get back to that beginning of round. Then the next row, it's knit 9, knit 2 together, knit 9, knit 2 together, blah, 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 blah. If you want a faster decrease, and 6 also divides in here evenly, 6 minus 2 is 4, 4, knit 2 together, 4, knit 2 together, 4, knit 2 together. You'll have a lot more decreases in your round, and you'll decrease 4, 3, 2, 1. So you'll decrease in 4 rows. You can also put a knit row in between there, and it'll still look even. But that's all you have to do. You have to find a number that evenly divides into your hat, minus that number by 2. That's how many you knit. Then you knit 2 together. That's how you come up with the perfect little swirly, swirly crown decreases. I can't believe that in all of the videos I tried to watch that nobody just easily, succinctly said it. I can't believe that it took like 8 blogs to get to somebody actually saying all you need is a number that is evenly divided into your hat. You take that number minus 2, knit those numbers, knit 2 together, knit the number, knit 2 together. I mean, it's just been a revelation for me. So I knit a lovely, lovely hat that I sent off to my niece for her son. And then I said that my goal was in this week, since I know when the kids are home, I don't get like uninterrupted. So I have to do things that are pretty darn brainless. So I've knit a number of them, and I've tried to figure out, because there's also this hat thing, like if you take a sport weight hat that has 72 stitches on a size 4, if you go up to a size 5 and you knit it on worsted, same numbers, you're going to get a bigger hat. Okay, so I've tried to play with that theory. I don't know that it's entirely accurate, but pretty darn close. And I know that my gauge can vary widely. My gauge can vary widely. I wish I could be far more consistent. Most of the time I err on too tight, but so my goal was to do 4 hats. Okay, it didn't occur to me, pink hat, dark pink crown, because I ran out of yarn. Yeah, it looks like a total nipple. But let's not tell anyone that. Maybe I'll make a pom-pom. I suck at making pom-poms. Ooh, I almost had cleavage. So I made my little stack of hats. And one thing I wanted to show was I don't have a lot of worsted, so I went on Etsy and I looked up for like the cheapest hand-dyed worsted that I could find. Free shipping, on sale, whatever. I found Sarah's Needle. She doesn't seem to have a lot of colors on, like ready to ship. She does have a dyed order. But the worsted is like, I found a number of colors on sale, and they were $10 and $12 a skein for worsted. Normally, I think it's $14 for her worsted skein, and this is worsted 220 yards, 100% superwash wool. Hand wash recommended. And this is one of her, see now, sun in Arizona, you've got to change so quickly. So, this is one of her colorways. This is one of her colorways. I got this tonal. I like her tonals, I think, a little bit better than the way that the pooling happens on the colorway. But, good God, you cannot argue with that cost. You just can't. And because, you know, honestly, I'm on a yarn diet. I'm trying to use up what I have. See, and this is 100 gram regular old skein for on sale. I think this one was $12. So there are times where you can find some deals right on Etsy, and I suggest you do it. And I understand that if you want to be Lolo and have your own business and have a huge amount of yarn ready to go, which is great, and I love that, you've got to charge that 26 to, I think her highest one now is like 35. Oh, she has a really big skein that has like 750 yards in it, and that one's more. That's like 48, 63. I don't know, some of these numbers are crazy. And yes, I can get away with a sweater in 750 yards because I do short sleeves and I don't go super long, and I have no extra need here, so there's no shaping and stuff. But a lot of people can't. And even at my stage of knitting the sweaters, yes, they're pretty, but they're still not great. So I don't really want to spend $60 in yarn for one of my sweaters that I'm not sure is going to have the lifespan that I think a $60 sweater should have. So that's just my little aside on yarn pricing. But I'm not always in love with the lack of tonality in the solid colors that you get from the Lion brands and the whatever. I'm not coming quick, you're fine. You can't be done, you need another 5 minutes. Sorry, 5 more minutes. Okay, so that's my first little finished object. If you want to get out yourself and wrap yourself up, that's fine. So, back in the day, I have to deal with this. You can get yourself out, you're a big girl. Is that going to do it? Maybe. Okay, back in the day when I first started out, Knit Picks loved it. And I do like the sales and the prices, and so Knit Picks is, you know, for the big box, one of my more favorites. And I got this cotton linen mix set for a really good price. Well, I don't know. I didn't have the greatest consistency. It's taken a few years here of knitting for me to get to the point where I was like, okay, I have to do the dishcloth. And if you don't like my sound, I don't want to hear about it. Put on headphones, turn your volume up, you'll be fine. So, grandma's whatever classic dishcloth. You start at a corner, you work your way, and then you decrease. You know, this cotton linen is so smushy. I just love it. And so I took both ends. So this is done two, two. Two. Oh, here's two. I feel like I'm in Sesame Street right now. See? Both ends. Knit, 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 knit. Get to a point, and all I did is I took the remainder of my thing, my skein, and I weighed it. And I just kept knitting until I got to 25 grams, and then I started to decrease. And the first time I was freaked out because as I got down here, I thought I'm not gonna have enough yarn. But you know what? I did. It absolutely worked. I am not gonna wash and block these. Maybe I should. I'm just not. And the nice thing that I like is that I can put the tag right over the finished product, and for a little gift set, I think that's adorable. That's adorable. So I did that on Thursday night. I did this one yesterday. There's a couple of mistakes in here, but oh well. I did this yesterday. I'm getting towards the end. And I just love how when you decide to start decreasing, you go from a triangle to this square. I just love that. Then I have red picked out for later today. So tomorrow's the last day, it's Sunday, and then Monday they go back to school. Although my son has been in school all week, so I've had to do that. Although he does most of it himself. He's a great kid and he's a great student. And Prue is starting to read and write very well, like the little kid books. So that's exciting. So those are my finished objects for this week. I did manage, like I threatened, take out the neckline on this and get it on hooks, needles. Okay, that's enough. Prudence. Well, everything is collapsing. I have to go. I love you. I'll talk to you next week.